Keep your cool, Dean.
Yeah, and building off of what you just said too, Pete, the point again is that, we're shooting for more than 90% women, our clients on the roster. We live in a society now that spanking is frowned upon, and now you've got a horse that, maybe you should have had some more patience with, that if you were at a boarding or a training facility, you might have reached up and given him a swat, but now you got an owner standing there, and that's her baby. So, you might want to think twice before you lose your cool on some of these horses, and I know it can be a challenge in some circumstance, but likewise too, there could be other reasons for that, whether we've upset the horse on a time schedule, whether he's now suffering from a lameness issue. So there can be other reasons why the horse is misbehaving. So just keep it under control.
How can the client help, Mark?
Okay, the client is there, and they can be a help, or they can be a massive hindrance. I prefer them to be helpful to me. And again, communicating with them, asking them, when they're holding the horse, simple things, and how should they hold the horse. A lot of these backyard clients don't know how to hold a horse. They may hold it on a very long line, so it's free to nibble your backside and move about. Again, if you've got a horse that may well be stiff behind, it may be an idea for the horse to be tied up and for the client to stand on the opposite side of the horse if you're working on the back end, to stop the horse from moving over, and just getting the client to, perhaps in some situations, whether it be a young horse that's a little bit fretful, whether it's an older horse that may be stiff and maybe exhibiting certain behavioural traits, because the older horse knows what you're about to do. The older horse knows that you're going to be picking up a back leg or a front leg, and it's going to cause them pain. So you need to get the client to be able to reassure the horse by stroking it, by talking to it. The horse has a good, or should have a good relationship with the client, and it's important for the client to be able to express to the horse that it's okay what's happening to you, that the horse feels secure by the owner's behaviour towards that horse, just to reassure it, to calm it down, to know that nothing is going to come to cause it any harm. So it's helpful for the client to be able to help you. And I'm certainly not a fan of horses being fed tidbits all the time, but sometimes a bit of bribery doesn't go amiss, and if it saves a big battle, does it really matter for a few slices of carrot? If it helps the horse stand still, the horse gets done in a timely and comfortable manner, and no one is hurt. So it's helpful to communicate to the client what your expectations of them are, just in that act of holding a horse to be trimmed or shod.
On that note, if I've learned that, and you can do this with your scheduling, is if you really don't want the client there because they're a hindrance, you just kind of find out what their schedule is, what their work schedule is, and then go, I can't be here until such and such date. Oh, well, I'm going to be at work then. Well, that's perfect. I'll just come in when you're not here.
I've had that happen. I have one owner that's forbidden to be around her horse while I do it.
Hey, Pete, don't skip on the mechanics.
Okay, the mechanics that working on these backyard, they're just as important as working on a six-figure jumping horse or anything like that. So whatever they need, my idea on these horses is whatever they need, they'll get. No more, no less. So if they need a foot rebuild, they'll get that. Whatever they need. Shoes, if they don't need shoes. Trim, if they just need a trim, that's what they're going to get. So use whatever you need to do, because those horses are some of your best business cards. When the vet comes out and they have time with these backyard horses and the clients more so than at the clinic or at a barn, and they'll sit there and they'll talk about things, and they'll be looking at the horse and they'll say, well, who does your horse's feet? Oh, so-and-so does, and boy, he does a good job, blah, blah, blah. And this is how I kind of got into working at a clinic, because I got these referrals just for backyard horses like that.
Dean, attitude is everything.
And that's even, once again, building off of what you said too, Pete. When I first started coming to Hoof-Care Summit, the very first year, and the obvious is you guys get networking around, it's one of the first questions that you ask one another. What kind of horses do you do? And when I first started coming to these events, my answer was, I work on backyard horses. And now my answer is, I work on backyard horses. And just as Pete said, the clients get you places and get you other accounts. And I'm amazed time and time again how discerning a backyard client can be when it comes to selecting a farrier. Many times by the time they choose me, they've had some bad experiences. They have already established themselves as a value-based client before I ever meet them the first time. So we already have a great relationship before it's ever even had a chance to blossom. So never overlook that backyard client. They are some of the most wonderful clients that I have.
Pre-book the next appointment, Mark.
It's of huge benefit to everybody if you can book ahead. Okay, so when you go there for your appointment, always book the next appointment ahead. Okay, it makes life a lot easier for you. It makes life a lot easier for the client. Okay, some of these backyard clients, they have full-time jobs. Their horses aren't their lives. Their horses aren't their business. Okay, they may well be working full-time. So it's essential that you're booking appointments ahead. I have a lot of clients that I may well book 2 or 3 appointments ahead. So it's down in the diary. They know when you're coming. You know when you're going to be there. By doing that, by having a time and a date, when you turn up there, the horse is going to be in. It's going to be ready for shoeing. And as well, you're going to be, financially, you're going to be better off by pre-booking clients, because if they're done on a regular basis, whether it's every 6 weeks, then you'll see them every 6 weeks. If it's going to be around about every 6 weeks, chances are it'll get to 6 weeks, and it's like they're going to think, well, I must phone the farrier. By the time you look in your schedule, it may well be another 2 weeks. So you go in. At the end of the year, you're going to be making less money on these horses because you may be missing out on 2 or 3 shoeings over the course of a year if you're not booking ahead. I have some clients, some of my bigger clients, I'll book ahead, a whole year ahead, so it's down in the diary, and it helps when you go in. You come into things like this. If you're away from your business for a week, it's difficult to plan. If you're looking ahead in your diary. Okay, it may well be that you can, each subsequent appointment that you're booking, if you book it, say, a day or 2 days before or after, over amounts of time, if you're away later on in the year, okay, you can book that ahead without it being a mad rush before you go and without it being a mad rush when you get back.